right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Imaginary Boys podcast. I am one of the two hosts, Mr. Habanero. I am joined here with my other wonderful, amazing, sexy, beautiful, delicious host. I wanted to put more words on the end of that, but I couldn't think of any on the spot, so we're going to go with that. It's Mr. Lettuce over here. That's who he is.
Howdy how.
Apparently Mr. Hanky too. Thank you, Mr. Hanky. How are you doing tonight?
Don't forget your towel.
Okay, hi, Towley. Good to see you here too. I see we have multiple guests tonight, Mr. Hanky and Mr. Towley. Good to have all of them in here, crowded in the Imaginary Boys studio, which is all located inside your brain because it doesn't actually exist. It's all a figment of your imagination, and you have entered into the Matrix. Do you think that that's a steak you're eating?
No.
Thank you, Lettuce. Thank you.
But there is no spoon either.
There's no spoon. There is no spoon. You see, Neo, there is no spoon. I actually watched a really interesting theory not too long. Well, actually, this was quite some time ago, so I can't say not too long ago. But I watched an interesting theory that basically says that when you watch all the Matrix movies and you kind of like even the really terrible ones, and you kind of put all the pieces together, the premise is that everything is the Matrix. Even the overworld that they supposedly escape into to get out of the Matrix is still the Matrix. Yeah.
Matrixception.
Yeah. Well, the idea is that like the concept of it is that they realize that they're like the whole basis of it is that there are brains who refuse to accept the original Matrix, but they still have to keep those brains complacent. So the idea is that the only way that they could keep those brains complacent and trapped within the Matrix is by creating another Matrix where everything is terrible and awful. So that those people can believe that, oh, this must be the real world because this is where everything that I think is actually a conspiracy is actually reality. So no matter what they do, they never actually escape the Matrix. They're always constantly trapped within it. I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah, that's...
Considering how terrible those movies are.
I wouldn't say that.
I love the first one.
I mean, everybody loves the first one.
Yeah.
I don't hate the second or third one.
So, I never really liked the second or third one until I saw the theories about the concept that it's all just the Matrix. Like, they never actually leave it. And I was like, you know what? If that's the case, the second and the third one feel a little less silly. I'm okay with that, you know? So...
Yeah, but, like...
You actually enjoyed them?
I know what I know what the movies were supposed to be.
Yeah.
And given what they're supposed to be, they're not bad. They're not bad at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the people who judge Star Wars Episode 1.
That's what I was like, you know what you're giving me vibes of is the fact that episodes 1, 2, and 3 actually feel like good movies when you compare them to what they are now.
Okay, so...
Yeah.
So, because of episode 8 and 9...
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, by comparison...
Yeah,
seem like masterpieces.
They're good. They're like I actually went back and rewatched them with the knowledge of, because I haven't seen let's see. So I saw 7, right? But I didn't see 8 and 9. And
I saw 7 and 8 and never saw 9.
Yeah, I didn't see 8 and 9. I just saw 7. And 7 was like, I don't know about this, you know? And when I went back and rewatched 1, 2, and 3, I'm like, you know what? After having seen 7, these are not that bad. Like they're not that bad, actually.
Okay, so I never hated 1 or 2.
Okay.
3 was crap.
Okay.
But the thing is 1, you had to know what 1 was. Like, 1 had to be the origin story for Anakin Skywalker.
Well, yeah. The original concept of the Star Wars trilogy of trilogies was it's supposed to be the story of Anakin.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Or supposed to be. Supposed to be.
supposed to be.
Yeah.
I for being Anakin's so episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It is supposed to be Anakin's origin story.
Mm-hmm.
It was a perfectly fine Anakin's origin story.
Sure, sure.
Like, they did absolutely nothing to destroy what we knew about Anakin Skywalker or Darth Vader.
Sure.
People complain about Jar Jar.
Well, yeah, nobody
but
likes
the
Jar
thing
Jar,
is,
though.
Yeah, but like no one like I lived back in the day. No one liked the Ewoks.
Uh-huh.
Like, I lived in a time where
I'll be honest. I also do not like the Ewoks. I do not like them at all.
Like I remember I lived through a time where people were like,
Bruh.
Ewoks.
Yeah.
Well,
because they're like they're obnoxiously cute. I hate obnoxiously cute things. Like, for example, like, I'm going to give a hot take right now. I really do not like Baby Yoda. I can't stand him. Like, I don't even watch the show, and I can't stand Baby Yoda. I don't think he's cute. I don't think he's a cute mascot or an interesting mascot. Like, I can't stand seeing him everywhere. It drives me insane.
Baby Yoda memes are okay.
Nah, I disagree.
Baby Yoda memes are okay.
Okay. You're allowed to have that opinion.
But that's like, so the Gungan, out of all the Gungans, Jar Jar, like, everybody's like, oh, I hate the way Jar Jar talks. I'm like, well, I mean, out of all the Gungans, Jar Jar's the most intelligible.
Wasn't there like a warrior Gungan who was like his father or something like that?
And well, no, there was the big boss.
Because I remember there was like I remember there was like one Gungan who was like really like he had like a deep voice and he was all muscular, but you could understand.
Well, no,
what he was saying.
that was the big boss.
Okay.
And no, he wasn't that intelligible. Like, he had the kind of like, the Gungans kind of sounded like Jamaicans a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of what they were trying to do there.
What they're kind of trying to do, and you know how sometimes you just get like a hardcore Rasta and you can't understand what he's talking about?
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that was the boss Gungan. Huh. And then there was like the main, like the soldier Gungan.
Mm-hmm.
Like we got the idea like he was the captain of the soldiers.
Right.
He also was not very intelligible.
Did you ever hear the theory about the original concept that I mean, I don't remember if there was any actual like evidence behind it, but did you ever hear the theory that Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be the Sith Lord?
Yes, I've heard that theory.
Yeah. Do you think there's any like proof behind it? No, not at all. Well, because I heard I heard that there was like some kind of like weird evidence behind it, but at the same time, like, supposedly the reason why they nixed it was because he became a popular, beloved like child character. Like, supposedly children loved him.
Oh, it was nowhere close to being canon. What ended up happening was Jar Jar in episode 3 was the one responsible for Palpatine's rise to power. Like,
that's interesting.
It was Senator Jar Jar's vote.
Yeah,
that gave Emperor Palpatine absolute power in the Galactic Empire.
That's interesting because I don't see. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that is why everybody's theory was Jar Jar was the Sith Lord. Because he was the one who enabled Emperor Palpatine.
And I will say this is that the reason why I love that theory is it gives me a reason to like Jar Jar Binks. Gives me a reason to like him.
That was everybody's glom on, though.
It's like if I knew that he was an evil villain, I would like him.
I guess. Like, people just want to think way too deep about. To be perfectly honest,
yeah,
Jar Jar was the toy seller of that movie.
yeah. No, I get that, and that's
Like,
that's
people
originally
were trying to put way too much money, like way too much thought in the throwaway toy seller character.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, well, okay. So I have to first of all explain to people because right away we're talking about Star Wars, but I need to make sure that I properly express this. I am not a huge Star Wars fan at all. Like in general, don't really care that deeply about Star Wars at all. I love episodes 4, 5, and 6. I would never consider myself to be a fanboy, but what I can say is I like episodes 4, 5, and 6 because of how they stand as movies. Like just as movies on their own by themselves. Like I respect them and I think they're fun and I think they're entertaining. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I can't tell you, how every Star Wars ship is built, from the ship bay to the janitor's closet. I can't tell you the entire life history of every single character off the top of my head. I'm not a Star Wars fan. But I can respect them as films and I can enjoy them and I feel comfortable talking about them. But it's I do like the idea of talking about Star Wars every once in a while. So, but I just don't want to give the impression like, oh, I'm this hardcore Star Wars fan because I'm not. I'm not.
I was never a hardcore Star Wars fan, and as a matter of fact, I have a pretty unpopular opinion
about about what?
A New Hope is a shit movie.
New Hope is a shit movie. That's which one is that? Is that
that's the A New Hope? That's the episode 4.
Episode 4? Okay.
Yeah. Episode 4 is straight crap.
Yeah. I like episode 4. I don't think it's the best of the 3 though. I always like number 5 the best. That was my favorite. But if I remember correctly, number 5 is the one where the Empire. Wait, is number 5 The Empire Strikes Back? Because is that what it was?
No, that's number 4.
Number 4 is The Empire Strikes Back. Okay.
And number 4 is Empire. Return of the Jedi is number 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I really like 5 the best. But I thought and the thing is too is I like, and this is part of what I was talking about of not actually being a true fan of Star Wars is in general, I don't think that they're that deep or complex as movies. Like I said, I can enjoy them as movies. I can enjoy them because, they're fun to watch and they stand alone. But if you're trying to look for some kind of crazy, interesting, deep plot, in the end, one of the most popular things to say, one of the most popular normie, quote unquote, normie things to say about Star Wars to prove that, it's meh is, it's just a story about space wizards fighting each other, with magic. So
right.
It's not this I'm sorry guys, I feel like I'm probably going to piss a bunch of people off. That's fine. I'm okay with it.
Bruh.
Yeah. Well, we just lost our 2 Star Wars fans in the podcast.
Bruh.
So I just, it's not a complex story. It's not this super deep philosophical, psychological, easy to relate to political. Yeah.
It's a dumb action movie.
Yeah. It's a dumb action movie with space wizards.
With a very basic premise.
Yeah. And it's and my favorite part about it is I have a meme. There's a meme that I adore. It's an old one. And I use it a lot, especially for stuff like this, which is it shows a little wizard guy and he's shooting beams of magic out of his hands. And he's got this coy look on his face. And right above his head is a caption that says, "Bitch, I ain't got to explain shit. It's magic." and
yeah,
that's
pretty
how
much.
that's how I feel about Star Wars. That's how I feel about Star Wars. Is it's like
It's space magic.
yeah, bitch, I ain't gotta explain shit. It's magic. Like, what do you want?
Like,
Like,
why does your lightsaber go so far? Magic.
yeah. Like, for example, whenever I see like the videos on YouTube that are like trying to explain the science behind lightsabers, my immediate reaction is that meme. It's like, bitch, it's magic. Calm your titties. Like, like it's okay. Like we can enjoy magic. It's fine. But like,
Yeah.
you're trying to be this person who wants to explain all of the complex scientific details like of Star Wars. And it's like, dude, it's magic. Just enjoy it for the fact that it's just ridiculous, stupid magic. Okay, just calm your tits. It's fine.
So we can keep talking about Star Wars you want. I just want you to remember that you are on a tangent.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. It's I just find
because we were talking about Matrix.
That's true.
About my take on the Matrix.
That's true.
Because we were talking about something else. Oh yeah. Well, what were we talking about? Because the Matrix was even a tangent.
Well, yeah. I think the first thing we were talking about was how Mr. Hanky and Towley are apparently guests on our show.
Yeah.
But no, the Matrix was like the kind of the first subject we talked about because that was when I made the joke about, is that a steak you're eating? Like, do you think you're eating a steak? Because it's all in your mind.
Right. Okay.
I would love to talk more about the Matrix because I actually really, I actually adore the concept of the Matrix, like the overall, because I love science fiction. Even though I just shat all over Star Wars. But I do love.
But Star Wars is basically high fantasy if it was in spaceships.
Yeah.
Like you don't I don't consider Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to be science fiction.
Okay, I mean, I get,
Like,
but I see more of that as a comedy.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's comedic, but
yeah,
people are like, it's comedic science fiction. I'm like, no, there's things that happen and it seems science futuristic, but
yeah,
there's a lot of stuff that's just hand waved for the sake of the comedy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Kind of a work of high fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because so I have never read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I did see. I know. I never read it. I've seen the like British miniseries of it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw the British miniseries and I thought that was a lot of fun. That was something that my dad was like, if you're not going to read the books, you at least have to watch this. So me and my dad watched it together, which was a really nice bonding experience. And then we went and saw the movie and we both were like, I don't know about this.
I actually kind of did like the movie a little bit.
Okay, that's all right. It's, like I thought the British miniseries was a lot of fun. It was definitely a big adventure and enjoyed that. But I mean, the thing is I would agree that it's not like this because there's lots of things where they're just like, where they're like, oh, this just happens because we say it happens. Like there's no scientific explanation behind it or anything like that. It just kind of happens. But also, one of my favorite things to say sometimes actually came from that, which was it's not impossible, it's just improbable. Like that's a line from that series that I love. Yeah. If you can conceive it in your mind, it's not impossible, it's just improbable.
Right.
And that comes from the concept of the improbability engine when they're discussing it and how it functions.
Right.
Which I loved. I loved the whole concept behind the improbability engine.
Right, but that was just like, it's like, this is a magic MacGuffin, how we get from point A to point B.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point, is they invented that so that they didn't have to explain the science behind how it would function. That's literally why they did that.
Right, but I feel like, I sometimes feel like kind of one of the components of science fiction is if you're going too far out the bounds of what is wildly known and accepted in this age,
Mm-hmm.
you do kind of have to explain a little bit where you get from here to there,
Yeah.
because otherwise
Yeah.
it's magic.
Exactly. I agree with that. Um, I do you read Philip K. Dick? Do you read his stuff?
Not religiously, no. I
That's
know
okay.
I know who Philip K. Dick is.
Yeah, a lot of people do. That's okay. Well, I mean, like, and here's the thing is because normally the moment that I explain like my perspective on Philip K. Dick and I use the most popular title ever, people are like, oh yeah, like Philip K. Dick, of course, duh, like so you probably like Blade Runner, right?
I'm aware of Blade Runner's existence.
Wow, that surprises me. In the sense of like that you know it exists, but you probably are not into it or have really seen it, right?
Yeah, I've never really seen it.
That's okay.
My experience with Philip K. Dick uh, begins and ends with A Scanner Darkly.
Oh, that's such a good story. Scanner Darkly is it's so spooky. Have you like actually read the book or are you just talking about the movie? Because they're both great. They're,
Both.
yeah, they're both. Oh man, Scanner Darkly is such a sad, scary, like it's a trip, dude. It is because it's Philip K. Dick had a really serious addiction to was it heroin? I think it was heroin. I think he was addicted to heroin. And he basically it might have just been like some form of opium or something, but I feel like it was probably heroin. And he wrote Scanner Darkly while he was in the process of fighting to quit his addiction to heroin. And it's an accumulation of his experiences in quitting heroin, as well as because he also had people that he was friends with that he knew who also had very serious problems with the drug as well. And the whole story is because like he tells it in this like semi like there it's really crazy because it comes in and out of reality. Like there are times where it's plastered in reality where it's direct science. There's plenty of information. Like it's very clear. It's very easy, like not necessarily easy to understand, but it's very scientific and matter of factly. And then there are times where everything is very surreal and just lost in this strange, you know, world of just it's like there are times where it comes in and out of reality, like between reality and the uh weird psychedelic fantasy of just being hopped up on drugs basically. And I mean it is actually like a coherent story about like it's about a special task force that goes in and infiltrates these drug dealers and these drug plants that are selling this weird they farm and sell a plant that's basically this highly powerful dangerous hallucinogenic drug, and all the things that are involved around the distribution and abuse of that drug. And it's just
Yeah.
it's a wild ride. That's a good book. That is a good book and a good movie.
Oh yeah, that movie's amazing.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so uh I love Philip K. Dick. I love his books. And a lot of the movies that are based off of his books end up being pretty good as well. So the reason why I brought it up is because I mentioned Blade Runner. My favorite book that he ever did is a book called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? And that book is what ended up becoming the
Blade
story of
Runner.
Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorite science fiction stories of all time because the whole concept behind it is the idea of the basic concept of it is it's about a lot of things, but the main concept is that it's a story about how far does technology go, like in basically how far does technology go through the complexity of artificial intelligence before it becomes indistinguishable from human intelligence.
Right, right. That's a very common theme in science fiction.
Yeah. And that book, in my opinion, tells that story better than any other science fiction story I've ever seen in my entire life. Um, and for anybody who wants to know, well, wait a minute, how does the Blade Runner fit in? The concept of the Blade Runner is Blade Runner is a task force that hunts down rogue robots and rogue AI. They're like a police force, and they basically hunt down rogue AI. And the idea is that the story focuses around an artificially intelligent android who has basically, through some form of rogue programming, achieved a level of intelligence that is basically nearly indistinguishable from human intelligence. And there's a whole mystery surrounding it, and basically the Blade Runner's job, the main character, his job is to hunt down this AI and bring it to justice. But a major part of it is that like he has to find it, and he has to be able to know whether or not it's human or whether or not it's a robot. So it's a great story. It's one of my favorites of all time. So, but I do love that stuff. I really do. But I mean, also like going back to the Matrix is I love the kind of science fiction that really kind of because I mean we always kind of talk about well, I mean not specifically we, but we always kind of are talking about like where are the advancements in technology to the point of like, well, we have virtual reality, right? You know, like that's a realistic thing, and we're constantly improving upon it. And it's like, well, how far are we going to get until we finally, you know, invent the Matrix or something? You know what I mean? So, do you think we'll get there, Lettuce? Do you think we'll all be a part of the Matrix and we'll all be enjoying virtual steaks?
You mean we're not now?
we're all in the Matrix already. I knew it.
Well, I mean,
are we getting to Elon Musk levels here? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, no,
I'm down.
This is where we're going with this. I would argue that we have our Matrix now.
Yeah.
And it's Twitter.
Oh God, don't say that.
That's how disgusting it is.
So we're living in the bad timeline, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we're living in the bad Matrix. the crap one that makes you pine for the idyllic one.
Oh man.
No, but really, like, we have people who are addicted to like being on Twitter, people who are just permanently on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't get that.
I mean, we're like they are like 2 steps removed from having their phone inside their face to having their phone inside their brainstem.
Yeah, we're just like, you've seen that episode of Futurama where they invent the quote unquote iPhone, like I is an EYE.
Yeah.
And they just like, the guy just pulls out the little device and he like pulls out a mallet and then just hammers it into the guy's face.
Like, yeah. No, that's
yeah, man.
Like, we're like 2 or 3 like niceties away from having a you know, a cable going from our phone into the back of our heads.
Yeah.
So we don't, so that we're always tethered to that world we want to be in.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah, we're not too far off from the Matrix.
It's pretty wild to me sometimes though, because I don't. I always feel pretty disconnected from social media, and the thing is because like I'm actually like trying to be more connected to it, but there's some kind of like blockage for me that makes it really difficult for me to actually be a part of it.
You realize that it's really easy to get sucked in.
I mean, I once quit Facebook because I thought it was bad for my health, like years and years ago, like way back in I don't know, like 2010 or 2011. Like I quit Facebook because I was obsessed with it. And I signed like a petition that I wouldn't get back into it, you know. And I stopped using it for years. I only came back to it back in 2017 or 2018 was when I was like, okay, I'm going to create a Facebook profile. And I did that because I wanted to kind of be connected with friends around the area. So that's why I kind of came back to it. But what's
Right.
weird is that I feel more disconnected from these social media sites than I ever have in my entire life before. Like by the way, I just want to go ahead and say Facebook, I hate you. Like I turn on my Facebook on my phone. Like I do this every night now. I turn on my Facebook on my phone. I look at it for 5 seconds, then whisper out loud to myself, Bruh. Hate you, Facebook, and then I turn it off.
Well, good news. Good news. They're now called Meta.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bruh. Hate you, Meta.
And you can get in the metaverse with all your metadatas.
Oh man. I saw a really funny meme on Twitter, speaking of Twitter, that made me laugh a good, nice, hearty laugh. Was have you seen like Lettuce, have you seen Sword Art Online? Is that like an anime you've ever seen? Like you probably know it exists, but
Oh yeah, this is one of those instances where I'm aware it exists.
okay. So Sword Art Online, I thought this was a really good meme. Sword Art Online is a anime story. By the way, it's a terrible anime. I'm going to go ahead and put that hot take out there. Sword Art Online is not a good anime, guys. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Fight me. That we just now lost another 3 viewers from me saying that. We lost our 2 Star Wars viewers and our 3 Sword Art viewers.
I don't know if Sword Art is going to lose us a lot of viewers.
I don't know.
I mean we have 2, and I know we pissed one of them off with Star Wars.
But anyways, yeah. So Sword Art Online is a terrible anime. But the overall point that I'm making is I saw this meme that the idea is that the whole metaverse of what is going on is they're trying to create Facebook into a virtual reality world where you can, plug in your brain and be within the metaverse, and you can, live your VR chat metaverse life, and spend money on microtransaction bullshit, virtual reality clothes and things like that. And what's really funny is I think it was like, isn't it that Metaverse has been like properly announced for like the year 2022? Is that what it was or something like that? Like I think they said.
I don't know. I saw the jokes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm like, oh, Facebook.
Well, so the meme is that in the story of Sword Art Online, which is all about a virtual reality game where everybody plugs in and then everybody's trapped inside the game and then they have to survive or they die, right? In the lore of Sword Art Online, the game was released in 2022. And I think the overall idea is that Metaverse is supposed to be released in the year 2022. So everybody on like Twitter's like making parallels that metaverse is going to trap our brains into the virtual reality, and we're all going to have to fight to survive. We're all going to be in the metaverse. We're all going to be in the what is it? The metaverse Hunger Games. That's what we're going to be doing. So, oh man, I mean. Do you think, like, is the idea that metaverse is replacing Facebook? Like, is it going to be like, no, like, you don't get to go on Facebook anymore as a website. You now have to, like, plug into virtual reality and this is your life now. Is that what it is? Because I don't get it.
No, no, I don't think that's what it is. Like what it looks to me is just like Meta, all the things that Facebook owns,
Yeah.
because Facebook owns like a bunch of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they're just trying to tie and integrate them together.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I thought the main selling point was that it's supposed to be like it's a virtual thing, right?
Well, yeah, it's because Facebook owns Oculus.
Oh yeah, they do, don't they? In fact, you told me that we did an episode where we were talking about virtual reality, and you informed me that Facebook owned Oculus, and I was like really surprised by that because I didn't know. So that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I just can't stand Facebook. I just like it's whenever I log onto it, I just feel depressed, you know? Like immediately depressed. I look at like two posts and I'm like, I hate this. I don't know why I'm on here. This sucks. Like do you use Facebook a lot, Lettuce?
I wouldn't say a lot.
Okay. Well, because I know sometimes like I get like posts from you, but it's pretty rare, you know?
Oh yeah, like I don't post a lot. Actually, I don't post a lot anywhere.
Yeah. That's all right.
Especially not my YouTube. Lol, 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 lol.
Yeah, what about that, Lettuce, huh? What you doing over there, buddy? Cuz obviously if you've been silent so often on YouTube, that must mean that you're clearly working on a large project and we're all looking forward to it, right?
I guess that's what you want to say. Yeah,
uh,
I'm gonna drop my YouTube opus sometime in 2023.
he's gonna finally drop the mixtape.
I'm going to, and it's
Yep.
gonna be, and it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be hot fire, guys. Look forward to it. 2023. That's when Lettuce's ultimate album. That's when the album drops.
Dylan is going to spit hot fire.
Yeah. I mean, so like, and I know that most like, because like Facebook is garbage, and obviously we're kind of thinking that Twitter's garbage. I I actually have been enjoying Twitter, but I also have cultivated it in a way where it's like I don't feel like there's garbage on it constantly. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that it's easier to manage whether or not there's garbage in my Twitter feed than it is to manage garbage on Facebook, you know? Because I feel like there's like little to no way to really truly control how much garbage is coming in on Facebook. So I actually really enjoy logging on to Twitter and seeing like the interesting posts um just kind of like of creators that I like or people that I know that are interesting, and just kind of like being like, oh, like, this person who I barely ever interact with is posting stuff that I don't like, so I'll remove you, and then it's gone forever. And then all of a sudden a person that I do like who is interesting suddenly retweets a post from somebody that I've never heard of before, but they're also posting interesting things, and then I add them, and then I have them in my feed, and they're interesting stuff. So I feel like it's kind of like, I mean, I do know that there's a lot of garbage on Twitter. Like I hear about it all the time, people posting what's up.
Twitter's really easy to cultivate your shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also really easy to get stuck in a echo chamber
Yeah.
doing that. But like my Twitter is mostly football.
I've noticed that. I've noticed that.
Like my Twitter is almost exclusively a football Twitter account at this point.
I've
And
definitely seen you post a couple of other things, but usually it's like I know that
mostly,
you sometimes interact with Jeremy. I've seen a couple of like posts that you've done for Jeremy, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
But that's pretty much the only time I ever see you deviate away from football stuff, which is cool. But yeah, I just don't. I try not to interact with people that are like doing political stuff, or I don't like stuff that's like, oh, I'm fighting for social justice, but I also don't like stuff that's like, oh, I'm fighting against social justice. It's like, I just don't want any of it. Like, don't give me any of it. I'm good. I don't need it. It's fine. Like, it's like I hear enough about it on YouTube, and I every once in a while see somebody posting about it on Facebook, and it's not something I want to be a part of. So just leave me alone. I'm good. I don't need it, Twitter. Like, it's fine. I'm good without it. But but I mean, I don't mind Twitter. Like, I just kind of like, for example, I gotta talk about a person that I added into my Twitter feed that I've been enjoying a lot. I I there was this like random post that kind of came in, and it was retweeted by a couple of creators that I follow, and it was some like VTuber. It was some VTuber named Fei, and who I've never heard of until like literally like a couple days ago. Because I don't watch VTubers. I don't. I'm sorry, guys. If you guys are really into VTubers, I've never been that interested in them. I guess I could I could say like I like, I don't watch them, but like I saw like a podcast of a group that I like, where they had a VTuber as a guest named, I think her name's like Calliope or something like that. And I thought she was really funny and interesting. So like that's like a VTuber that I think is pretty cool. But I've been getting like VTubers popping up into my feed here and there because a lot of people that I follow them. And there's one VTuber called Fei who has just been posting the most hilariously outrageous things I've ever seen on Twitter lately. And the first post I ever see from this person named Fei just made me like die of laughter. And I'm like, all right, you're in my feed. Like, with this one post, you get to join my feed. She posted like that just sounded like, what was it? The post was what was it? It was, if you were like, if I allowed you 5 minutes to play with my boobies, would you do it? And I was just like I was like, all right, you get to join my feed now. Thank you. Like, and I even posted that like back at her. I was like, all right, I've never seen you before in my entire life, but that post all by itself, I know what I need to do. And I was like, I'm following you now. You're great. So that's a secret, guys. If ladies, if you want me to follow you on Twitter, just let me know if I'm allowed to play with your boobs for 5 minutes straight. That'll get an instant follow out of me. That's wonderful.
You're already following me, and you never asked to play with my titties.
Well, no. The whole point is that she asked me. You're supposed to ask me. Like, the post said, if I gave you 5 minutes to play with my boobies, would you do it? You've never asked me that. Do you want to ask me that?
No.
Okay. Do you want to go on Twitter and ask me that?
Be right back.
Oh man. So like, because you told me that you primarily use Twitter for football stuff. Does that mean that all the people you follow are football people?
Well, not all of them, but a vast majority of them.
Okay.
Like, there's you, there's Cinder,
Right.
there's Jeremy.
Yeah, that's right.
There's Sophia Narwitz.
I don't know who that is.
And then there's just a bunch of football people.
Okay. That's cool, man.
Oh, and I think I'm still following Pink for some strange reason.
Pink Peacock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm afraid if I unfriend him, he'll dive into a spiral.
Yeah, you know what? If, in case Pink Peacock is listening to this, because there's a possibility. I do genuinely hope you're doing okay, buddy. I know it's.
I mean, same here.
Yeah, I know that you've been having a rough time, dude. But we just want to let you know that like people care about you. Like I care about you. Lettuce cares about you. People do care about you. So just take care of yourself. Do the best you can, and try not to beat yourself up, and try your best to not beat other people up as well, because people care about you. Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I follow Pink Peacock as well, because he's I think he's overall a good dude.
No, he's a really good dude.
Yeah.
Worked with him to build his streaming PC.
Yeah, you told me about that one time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got him in DLG.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I follow DLG as well, and he follows me, and he's a good dude as well. I enjoy his
I
company.
didn't even know DLG was on Twitter.
Yeah, he's definitely on there. You should give him a follow.
Okay.
He's a fun dude. He's a fun dude. He doesn't post that often. He follows one particular content creator that he retweets a lot. And sometimes that content creator has interesting things to say, and sometimes that content creator is meh. So, no hate though. It's just it just kind of like it depends what kind of day that guy is having, and sometimes I'll see DLG retweet something that content creator says, and I'll be like, yeah, man, like yeah, totally, like you got it, you got it. But yeah, it's definitely kind of tough that sometimes, like, I a while ago had to purge a bunch of people off of my Twitter, because I was starting to get just like a lot of really gross material, just like posts that were just like, this is obnoxious, like I don't want to follow you anymore. um I generally kind of try to just follow people that are, you know being fun, and having a fun time, and talking about interesting things or silly things, or whatever. Sometimes I'll be down for some hot takes, but usually I prefer, people that are just kind of talking about what's going on, or like I said, like I started following that Fei person because they just started making random hilarious sexual jokes, like, and I thought they were so funny. Like, she posted a bunch of like just really off the wall, like weird sex jokes, and I was just like, I have to follow this person, she's hilarious. So I love stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I guess I like, if you think of it, like, when you think about the idea of Twitter being kind of like a little bit of a bubble, where it's like you're cultivating exactly what you want to hear and you want to see. It is kind of like a matrix, you're right. It is. It's just, I'd be kind of interested to see it become a like, do you think, because like, so we're talking about metaverse, and do you think it will become like a real hardcore like virtual world where everybody will be sucked into? Do you think it'll ever get to that point?
It can.
You think so?
Yeah, the way society's going.
Hmm. Well, do you think it'll like actually succeed? And like, because I know that there's a large popularity to VR chat, right? Like that's a pretty big thing, where it's just like people are just wearing their headsets and living in VR chat and just hanging out with people all day in VR chat. So like,
Yeah.
yeah. Um so you think that metaverse will have the, I mean, they probably have the money to do it, right?
Yeah, um Facebook has the platform to do it.
Yeah.
They have the content, they have the clause and everything to make it work. It's just, will society go for it? And to be perfectly honest, I think they will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's funny to laugh at the cringy meme of it all, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, this is kind of the scary next step for social media.
Yeah. I believe that.
And I believe that I believe that people will kind of just blindly face roll into it.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm kind of like thinking a little bit about it. And it's one of the things that I think would be really interesting is, so my overall opinion is I don't think I would want to do it because I don't want to buy a virtual headset, right? So but what my thought process was is that if they were really smart, they would figure out a way to make virtual headsets incredibly stupid cheap, like either stupid cheap or nearly free, and then they're like, well, we'll give you the headset and it's stupid cheap, but then you got to pay for the service, and then you got to pay for like what kind of service package you're going to have, and then you're going to pay for like all the extra stuff that you add on, and like you're going to pay for your skins, and you're going to pay for like all this other stuff. It's kind of like my overall view of it, it's kind of like buying a printer. Like, printers are cheap, guys. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that. Printers themselves, like the actual printers that you buy for your computer, they're pretty cheap. They're not really that expensive. Where they you in the drive-through is through ink cartridges. Like you'll buy a brand new printer. You'll print out like one or two things. And then you stop using your printer for like 3 years. And then 3 years later, you realize you need to print out like two things. And then you realize that those ink cartridges are all dry. And then you have to go and spend like $100 for like $100 to $200 for two ink cartridges that you're going to use twice and then never use again. And it's like, that's why printers are so cheap, is because if they can sell you on a printer, they know that in the future they can sell you on like $100 ink cartridges. So I kind of see it like that. Like, if they can figure out a way to just be because I could say like I don't want to buy a headset, but they're like, but dude, the headset is like $20. Like, wouldn't you want to buy a virtual headset if it's just like $20? And it's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, I would like to buy a virtual headset if it's $20. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. But if you want to actually join the virtual world, you're going to need to pay like $80 a month plus like these other fees. And then you're going to have to pay all this and pay all that. And it's just, that would be the way to do it. And then if they could pull that off, like if they can manage to sell like a headset to everybody for like an extremely tiny fee, then you have the entire world like immersed in your virtual world. And like another concept is the first one's free, right? You know what I mean?
You're way overthinking this.
You think so?
Yeah. So I'm gonna assume that you own a smartphone.
Yeah, I do.
I own an iPhone 11.
I don't know the make and model of my phone because I don't generally really care about that stuff, but it's a smartphone.
Okay, it's a smartphone. On the general market, my smartphone cost $1,000.
Sure.
Most smartphones cost anywhere from $700 to $1,000, depending on the model.
Okay.
No one ever pays that much for their smartphone.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I think that like
no one pays for that.
I think I paid like $200 or $300 for mine, and it's a pretty good quality one too. I think it's a Google phone.
Okay, yeah. So you have that. Typically, I can get the latest and greatest iPhone from my wireless provider.
Right.
I'm with AT&T Wireless, by the way.
Sure, that's fine.
I can get the latest and greatest iPhone or Android phone from my provider with at no upfront cost.
Okay, so basically, like based on the way that they do it, you practically get it for free, is what you're saying.
Yeah, okay. like I can right now go to I can go to my AT&T store and upgrade to a 13 Pro, an iPhone 13 Pro.
Right.
Pay nothing up front.
Mm-hmm.
and just have my bill be $10 extra a month.
Okay.
Apple partnered with every major phone carrier in order to get their device in your hands.
Okay.
Samsung did, and then once Android came out, Samsung, LG, Google, they all did the same thing.
Right.
There is nothing stopping Meta from going to AT&T and saying, "Hey, we've got a 5G enabled, like self-contained VR headset.
Okay.
We want to be able to sell. We want to be able to use your 5G network to connect our wearable headset to your networks, so that people can go to our metaverse."
Sure.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes.
But
Oculus has a wireless headset that has a 5G antenna on it, and then they go to Verizon, they go to AT&T, and because AT&T will AT&T will subsidize not only an iPhone, but you can get an iPad with an iPad Pro with LTE connectivity, subsidized through Verizon Wireless, or through AT&T.
So they're supporting multiple devices within their same plan.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because you're paying for the internet.
Right.
You don't have to pay for Google. You don't, and that way, Meta doesn't have to charge a subscription fee. As long as they can get devices on there.
Yeah.
And as long as they can collect your data. They're gonna try to lower the barrier to entry.
Right.
So, like the current Oculus headset, like the Oculus Quest is a $300 to $400 device.
Got it. Okay.
If Oculus can come up with a $150 device that they can get AT&T and Verizon to subsidize,
right? Like, in other words, drive down the price.
No, like it's free.
Okay, right. That's
like
gotcha.
It's free. You just have to
pay for the service or the internet connection.
Pay for the internet connectivity for it.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But then it connects straight to the metaverse.
Yeah. See, but that's kind of like what I'm, I that's a different take on what I'm saying, in the sense of, like, if they can find a way to give it away cheap or free, like, that's how they're going to be able to make all their money and pull everybody in. For sure.
Yeah, they'll just do what the cell phone manufacturer's been doing for 10 years now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, like, because, for example, like, I'm not going to buy a virtual device for like $1,000. Like, are you kidding? Like, nah, dude. I ain't got that kind of money. Who the hell do you think I am? Like,
I mean, it's not $1,000 anymore, man.
Well, I mean, I'm just, throwing a random ass number out there. Like, if you told me that it was like I don't know, like $200 or $300, I would still feel a little weird, because I don't know. I like, it's very difficult for me to spend $100 on just about anything other than groceries. Like, I'll just be honest with you. If it ain't a integral part of my general survival as a human being, it's very difficult to get me to spend that much money. So, I mean, I'll treat myself every once in a while. Like, like I bought a 3DS, or I should say a 2DS XL for like $200 used, because I was like, okay, well, I have all my old, games, and I kind of miss playing them. And even though the device is out of production, it's like I really still want it because I still play it sometimes. And obviously I wasted what was it, like $200 on a cardboard magic box of garbage. So clearly I have the ability to spend that kind of money.
In my defense, I was trying not to bring that one up.
That's okay. I know, because I would rather bring it up and make fun of myself. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, clearly I have the ability to do so, but I'm just very I don't know. I just don't like spending large amounts of money. Like it's very weird for me, and I overthink it a lot. Um and like, for example, like, cuz one of the things I think of a lot of the time is like, how often am I going to care about the fact that I have this thing, you know? Like, and as a person that's, like, I love playing video games, but I'm also not an obsessive gamer. So it's very hard for me to spend lots of money on video games and things like that. Um, so like, it if there was like a Rift, like the Oculus Rift and stuff like that, and they're like, oh yeah, like we'll sell it to you for like $200, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
I mean, not for nothing, but the Oculus Quest,
Yeah,
or the Quest 2,
yeah,
is already a all-in-one VR device.
sure,
The only thing it doesn't have right now is a 5G antenna.
okay,
Like, if they slap a 5G antenna into the Oculus Quest, or like the Quest 3 gets a 5G antenna,
right, right.
and uh they can get it to connect directly to AT&T.
Well, like, what's the price point on this thing?
Without the antenna, right now it's $300. The Quest 2.
Yeah. So like right off the bat, that's like out of my league, you know. But
Yeah, but
that's just me. That's just me.
yeah, but
I'm sure that's really reasonable for a lot of people.
no, actually, that's probably a lot. That's probably too much for a lot of people.
Okay.
Um, but as I was saying, most people are carrying around $800 cell phones.
Yep, that's right.
You put an LTE or 5G chipset into it, make it so that it connects directly to AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, T-Mobile, whomever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you sell it as a LTE connected device
Mm-hmm.
through Verizon.
Right. Right.
And all these have like and all these companies have shared data plans. Like, if you have multiple phones or multiple devices,
Mm-hmm.
you buy data and you share your data between your devices. No, these are like family plans and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see a world where Oculus releases a Quest 3, or Quest 2 Pro, or Quest 2 Mobile,
Mm-hmm.
and it is self-sufficient, uh and at that point, everybody, and it costs $0 up front, and at $200, man,
Mm-hmm.
increase your cell phone bill, um a 2-year contract at less than $5 a month.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No one's going to think twice about spending that. If people want in the metaverse, that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all Oculus has to say is go.
Yeah. Well, and then you also, like, obviously there's always going to be those pioneers who are just like, I don't care what the price is. I want to be a part of this as soon as possible. So like, and they'll end up buying like, the ones that are the most expensive, like right upon release, or whatever. So, I mean, because those people do exist. I've seen it. Um, Yeah. Do you think that we'll get to a point of where people are just going to be walking around with these things on? You know what I mean? Like, they'll probably be, I don't know, like maybe not walking around. That sounds actually kind of dangerous the more I think about it. But like, do you think what'll happen is we'll get to a point of where, like, you know how we have like classic computer, computer coffee bars, but like with specifically, these people coming in, and then they sit down at a little desk, they order a coffee, and then they pop on their Oculus, and then they're just there all day doing whatever it is that they're doing, right?
Oh no, human beings are stupid. We're gonna do the walking around with headsets attached to our face.
Oh man, like the iPhone from Futurama. We've made full circle. Oh man.
Like Google Glass.
Oh yeah, I thought they
Be,
decided that wasn't going to be a thing anymore. Didn't they quit?
I mean, yeah, no, it's no longer a thing, but I mean, the concept behind Google Glass,
yeah,
is kind of a entry point to the metaverse.
Yeah, I mean, it's establishing the existence of the technology, which can lead down the path towards, okay, well, this is how, like, originally you were just selling it as technology, but there wasn't anything there. But now we know how to implement it to its full potential, right? So
Right.
now we have the ability to actually sell it because we have something that actually makes it worthwhile. So I get that. Because I mean, I recall that they bailed on Google Glass, like, because it was just, there's nothing there for it,
Well, yeah. That was.
Didn't we talk about this once?
No.
Oh, okay.
The thing that they did was was that people just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it had, like, it sounded like it had some general purpose, but it was like, it wasn't worth it. Like, it wasn't worth the price tag, because it's just like they're like, oh yeah, you can search Google on your glasses, and it's like, I can also pull out my phone and search Google.
That was the thing, was that
yeah.
it was very limited as to what you could do.
Yeah.
Because it was it was basically a heads up display.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the roadmap for the metaverse to be.
Right. Yes.
Like they want to be able to, they kind of want you to be able to wear your headset all the time, like even if you're walking around. But then they gotta solve the safety issue. But a lot of these headsets have cameras, for like front facing cameras. Right. So what you do is you're living inside this box, and all you got to do is, like, say, go into real mode.
Yeah.
And then basically you have your cameras, like, shooting your world and putting you into, like, augmented reality mode.
Oh my god, it would be you're in reality, experiencing the virtual reality while experiencing reality within the virtual reality.
Pretty much. Like you live your life in AR mode.
No.
Augmented reality mode.
Ugh. I feel so weird thinking that would be a thing. And I believe it. I would believe it.
That's the roadmap, though. But that's the most obvious roadmap, though.
Yeah. Oh no. What has science done? What has science done?
And now we're just trying to find ways to surgically augment people.
Right.
No, this is a world I'm not comfortable with.
I barely feel comfortable in the world we have right now. I don't think I need any more.
Like,
I'm having a rough time adapting to Facebook and Twitter as they are at the moment. Like, I don't know if I'm ready for the next step.
Well, it's coming.
Oh yeah, I know. It's always coming. Like, clearly.
It's coming.
Oh, geez.
Unabashedly, it's coming.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. It'd be interesting to experience. I mean, I guess. I mean, I am kind of a homebody, so maybe I'd adapt to it better because I'm already kind of like a.
Oh yeah, you
Uh,
just don't leave your chair. You've got your face thing on.
yeah, yeah.
You
You just
can. You just like, oh, I'm hungry. I want some Domino's, and then you're
Domino's
like,
is now being delivered. It's like, oh, okay.
yeah, you're like, I want some Domino's, and you're like, ordering Domino's.
Yeah, and it's like there's like a mail slot outside your door that hooks up to a tube that's attached to your face. And then it's just like they just dump the Dominoes into the mail slot, and it just gets
Yeah,
force fed into your body, and you're just like, this is my life now.
yeah, yeah. This is.
That's kind of creepy. I feel bad that I came up with that idea just now.
I helped you. You didn't do it on your own.
You did. You're right.
You didn't do it on your own.
Now delivering Dominoes.
So yeah, this is. So yeah, no, we're not too far away from the Matrix, man.
Yeah. Wow, we went in a whole spiel to talk about the Matrix. This is literally we've been talking about the growth of the Matrix from like the first do you think that's a steak you're eating all the way until we get to the point of yeah, and then the pizza gets dumped into the mail slot and then it's force fed into your face. So yes, that is a steak that I'm eating.
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh man. You know, sometimes I'm starting. I'm going to go ahead and divulge this to the audience right now. I'm starting to think that maybe we should start recording our discussions that we have right before we start the podcast. Because let me tell you guys, as fun as this is to talk about, this is not where
we're going.
No, this is not at all.
Unplanned.
This is 100% off the cuff because and that's usually how it happens. We're like, okay, so we got plans. We're going to like talk about this subject and then we'll move into this subject and then we'll probably end with this subject. And then we start the episode and then we make a joke about the Matrix. What?
I botched the opening. We end up in a Matrix discussion.
Yeah, we make like one joke about the Matrix and then the next thing you know, this is the episode.
But you're a big anime fan though, right?
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, have you heard of the Animatrix?
Oh yeah, it's so good. Yes.
Okay, yeah, that was
my favorite one. My favorite one is about the house. Do you remember the one about the house?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I remember it.
That's the best one. That was like my favorite of the entire series.
Well, so the reason why I don't hate the second and third Matrix movie is because I know the intention was to make a live action anime.
I've heard that.
No,
I've definitely heard that.
No, like straight out of the Wachowski's mouth.
Yeah.
That was their intention for the Matrix.
Yeah.
Was the Matrix one they were like, this is a live action anime. So for Matrix 2 and 3, I'm like, no, this is definitely the second and third act of that particular anime movie.
Yeah. For anybody who hasn't seen the Animatrix, go and watch it. It's fantastic. It's really fantastic.
If you could find it anywhere.
The way that I saw it was me and my father watched it when they released it for a while on Netflix. And this was like years ago. Like this was probably back in like 2011 or 2012 when me and my father watched the Animatrix. And we were both astounded by it. It was fantastic. And what's really interesting is because it has very obvious tie-ins to the movies. So, like, for example, like if you didn't see the first Matrix movie, you're not going to know what the hell is going on in the Animatrix series. But there was one that was just one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen. There's one episode that they do that's all about a house that the idea is that it's a story about a derelict building where weird things happen, and the concept is that it's a quote unquote haunted house, and kids and people start getting curious about it and they start going into it to see all the weird activity. And the overall concept is that it's just a glitch in the Matrix. Like all the paranormal activity is explained by being a bugged program. And it's fascinating. it's absolutely just really interesting. And the thing that I loved about it was that it kind of questions the idea of, when you see weird phenomenon in the world, things that just
Do
don't make
do
sense.
do do do
Phenomena. Do, do,
do
do,
do do
do.
do. Phenomena.
That's part of the Matrix too.
Yep.
Yeah, clearly.
So the Animatrix is available to stream on HBO Max.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder, let me see if, because I have some streaming sites that I don't like to talk about publicly that often. Let me see if they have the Animatrix available, because I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Let's see.
It's a $5 purchase for Prime Video.
That's actually, that's not bad. I mean, Prime Video, but
I mean, who here doesn't have Amazon Prime?
I know I have Amazon Prime.
I mean, there you go. You have Prime Video.
Let's see, Animatrix, if it's in here. I feel like it probably is. It's got to be. There it is, right away. It's one of the first things under the. Yeah, they have the whole thing right here, all in one go. Yeah. Plot summary. The Animatrix represents more than 3 years of collaboration between the Wachowski brothers and animation artists at studios in Japan, Korea, and the US. So, what is the Animatrix? It is a series of 9 feature film quality short animated films. All of the Animatrix is deeply rooted in the world of the Matrix films. Like I said, if you haven't seen the first movie, it's not going to make sense. Viewers of the Animatrix will learn the origins of characters familiar from the Matrix films, learn of the genesis of the Matrix itself, as well as meet new characters in original stories interwoven within the fabric of the Matrix feature films. There you go. So yeah, it's a good watch. It's definitely worth it. And I would also recommend that if you're gonna watch something, if you're gonna watch that, go and watch Ghost in the Shell. Go watch like the first Ghost in the Shell movie, and then go watch Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, because those my faves. Those are amazing. Have you ever seen Ghost in the Shell, Lettuce?
Bits and pieces.
Bits and pieces. Like, did you see the original animated film or no?
Oh, you weren't talking about the original animated film?
Oh well, I mean, because it's a movie, and then there's like a series, and then I think they made like another movie, and then another series. So
Like I'm like talking about the old
the original film, which is
the
a
original film.
freaking masterpiece.
Yeah,
well, that's good then. If you've seen bits,
I've seen about 85%. I would say I've seen in multiple viewings. I've seen about 80% of it.
that's good enough. I'd say that's good enough. Yeah, I love that movie. It's great. Very spooky, very interesting, very weird, very fun. And then Standalone Complex is a series. It's a like if you like the Animatrix, Lettuce, you would probably like Standalone Complex. That is pretty fantastic. But that's literally like you're literally watching like an entire series of anime. It's not just like one movie. So that's something you would probably have to actually dedicate to. But don't worry about it, because I know that you're not super duper into that stuff. But that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, no, the Animatrix is fantastic. I think it's pretty cool that you brought it up, because it's a good one. I have some good memories with watching that with my father.
It's also available to buy for $5 on iTunes. If any of our listeners are curious,
until somebody brings it up, I always forget that iTunes is still a thing. Like, I don't know. It's I always forget about it. Do you use iTunes? Is that do you still use that, or does anybody use that?
I mean, anybody with an iPhone probably does.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watch movies on your thing, I also have a Apple TV.
Okay.
I've actually one of the things I had planned on talking about.
Yeah, go for it, man.
But we ended up talking about the Matrix anyway. Was I pulled the trigger and got rid of my PS4.
Interesting choice. I do remember you mentioning that you were thinking about doing that.
Well, yeah. Well, I figured I'd trade in to get the trade-in value to buy like to get some Steam cards to buy some computer games since
I know where
primary
this is
gaming
going.
my primary gaming experience is now the PC with a little bit of the Switch.
Right, right.
Yeah, so
Tell me about the game that you decided to trade your PS4 in
uh,
for.
don't I mean spoilers?
Go ahead. Go ahead. I want to hear. I want
Well,
to hear about
well,
it.
well. The thing is, I got a couple of games.
I have the biggest
I got
smile on my face right
I
now,
got a
dude, because
couple.
I
I
know
got
where
a
you're
couple of
going.
things.
Okay.
I got a couple of games for the Switch.
Uh-huh.
Um, it was Mario. It was Super Mario 3D World
You're sounding a little hesitant here, buddy. What's up?
with the Bowser's Fury
Uh-huh.
and Super Mario Party Superstars.
Okay. All right.
I find that came out, and I remember being stoked about it from E3. So I got that. And
what was the real target, huh?
what was the real target? Well, I got some Steam. I got some Steam credit just in case some games can't come out on Steam
Uh-huh.
that I wanted to buy,
Sure.
and I'm currently holding on to that Steam credit because
But why?
there's not much there that I want to buy right now.
Or-
Oh no, that's a lie. I spent $20 on Skyrim Anniversary Edition.
Oh, okay. See, I thought we were about to start talking about
Oh, do you mean the game that you can't buy on Steam right now?
yeah, I'm sorry. I actually thought it
Oh,
was available, but I
oh
know
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no! It is actually 100% not available to buy on Steam still.
See, I thought you were trying to do this whole roundabout thing of like, and then I bought this game, and now I hate myself for it.
Well, no, no. Here's the funny thing:
Yeah, it's
It got pulled off the Steam store before I had a chance to buy it.
so would you like to provide some context and go ahead and just tell us
Yeah,
what's up?
yeah.
What's up, Lettuce?
So the primary thing that the primary two things I was planning on buying, one I couldn't use a trading credit, but I spent my cold hard cash on was Far Cry 6.
Right.
Um, and I've been messing around with that, and this is by far the worst Far Cry out of all of them.
Oh, really? I was not expecting that because I remember you were really stoked about it. Like you were really excited.
I was stoked about the DLC that hasn't come out yet.
Oh,
The DLC episodes where you can play as Pagan Min and Voss and Joseph Seed.
yeah, you said you were interested in playing the villain characters, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I remember that.
That DLC hasn't come out yet.
Sure.
The game as it stands. Granted, I haven't gotten out of the tutorial island yet,
Right.
but it also like it feels kind of, I don't know, the game just feels kind of stiff
Yeah.
and lifeless in parts.
I feel like you're almost describing my experience with Fallout 4.
Like the gunplay just doesn't feel as authentic as it did with like Far Cry 4 and Far Cry 5.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know if there's something I'm missing or something gets better along the line, but I have that. So I had to pay my own money out of that because Epic Game Store exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no such thing as an Epic Game Store card. Or at least not yet.
Okay.
So, but then I got some Steam credit, and as I said, I blew $20 on Skyrim Anniversary Edition. But I was also going to buy the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition.
This is what I was waiting for. Tell us about what's going on with this game, Mr. Lettuce.
Well, it came out.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the pre-release stuff looked really good.
Sure.
Like a lot of like the pre-release trailers that they released where they showed like the improvements to like some of the visuals. Looked really good.
Okay.
Like some of the textures and some of the character models that they showed. I mean, it looked like a very good HD remake of the Grand Theft Auto games from the PlayStation 2 era.
Sure.
People get a hold of it, and what they see is some of the most god-awful character models that people have seen in like decades.
I remember
Like,
I actually watched like a compilation of clips from like from the ridiculous gameplay.
Yeah, like the bodies have like multiple elbow, like people, like a lot of the bodies having like multiple elbows, and like the muscles are weirdly shaped.
Yeah.
So like
I
nothing looks.
saw a character with like a noodle arm, like a straight up noodle arm.
Oh yeah, Ryder on his bike with
Yeah,
his like
noodle arm.
three
Yes.
with his three elbows and a curly noodle arm. And then Big Smoke looking
Yeah.
like looking like Patrick the Starfish uh from SpongeBob.
Yeah. Like, so overall, is the overall perspective that the quality was worse than the original release?
On the character models, yes, because
How did they do that?
they
How did they
went
reverse that?
how did well, it looks very clean and it looks very modern. It looks like crappy Cal art animation,
Okay.
but very clean and very modern. Like the lighting is good. The textures on certain things look very detailed.
Right.
Um, the character models look like somebody developed humanoid character models having never been in contact with a human being.
This game was produced by aliens, everybody. No, wait.
Yeah.
This game was created by the computers in the Matrix.
Yeah. Yeah, this was an AI upscaling, and the AI all went rogue.
Apparently so.
And the game's got some bugs and some glitches.
Sure.
The rain effect looks really bad. Like
Okay.
it looks like it looks really really horrible.
Okay.
Um, like to the point where you can't see through the rain at all.
It's just like a wall of water.
It's a wall of static. It's what the rain effect looks like.
That's great. I love it.
Memory optimizations, I've seen people say that it runs terrible on the Switch. My choice is do I want to play this on the Switch with the potential of playing it on the go? Then I'm like, I don't even take my Switch. The thing is like I came to like when I was saying like, oh, I can take this on the go.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, if I go somewhere, do I ever really take my Switch? And the answer is like, not really, unless I'm specifically going somewheres with my kid.
Right.
And we both have our Switches together and we can play some multiplayer games. But then I'm not playing Grand Theft Auto.
You know, it's really funny because I definitely have like I have memories of like, you know, all the portable game systems that I've owned. I never played them in places other than my home, mostly. You know, even as a kid.
Oh no, I took my DS everywhere.
Really? That's surprising to me.
Like I had my DS with me at all time.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a problem. And I actually had a Game Boy Advanced SP too, and yeah, that followed me around everywhere as well. The problem is like Game Boy Advanced SP, we're talking about me when I'm in my early 20s. You know, DS, I'm in my late 20s.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
definitely, now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember taking my DS to school a few times. Me and my friends, we used to do that. So actually,
I
yeah,
mean, I took my GPA to class with me when I was in college.
that's where the joke came around of like, I feel like I've told this story before, but it's just a short one where me and my friends, we used to take our DSs to school and we played Pokemon primarily. We were playing Pokemon all the time. But the thing is like, so I've told you before that I was relatively popular in high school, and so were my group of friends. But like playing Pokemon wasn't like the most popular thing to do in high school. Um, so we would like bring our DSs to school and play Pokemon, but we would kind of like do it in secret. And um we kind of like had a hard time trying to discuss Pokemon strategies and stuff like that between each other while in high school. And so one time what happened was we were trying to like build competitive teams and be like pretty good at the game. And me and one of my friends who played Pokemon all the time shared a class together. And there was one day where I was just kind of like sitting at my desk in class before it started, and we were just hanging out, and my best friend basically slams open the door, and he like slams open the door for the classroom, and he sprints in, and he like slams his hands on the desk, and he's like breathing heavily like he just like sprinted all the way here, and he's like and I'm like, dude, are you okay? What's going on? He's like, bro bro, my PK mans are so awesome. They're like boobs, man. They're like boobs.
I took my DS with me when on my college graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I picto chatted people. Like I got into random picto chats with people in the audience.
I remember Picto Chat. That was interesting. That was like one of the free features where it's like, well, I guess I can do something with this on the DS, you know?
Right.
Oh man. But yeah, those were
But
good times.
so like I opted to go into to do it on Steam because I was like, well, maybe if I get a wild hair up my ass, I can stream myself playing San Andreas, because San Andreas is one of my favorite games of all time.
Right, right.
So here I am with money in my Steam wallet, burning a hole in my Steam wallet, unable to buy it because Rockstar has removed the ability to buy the PC version.
Right.
Because it got data mined.
Oh, really? I actually
it got data mined.
I was not expecting this. I just assumed that they took it off because they were embarrassed.
No. I mean, if they took it off because it was going to be embarrassed, they would have pulled it from the Switch and PS5 and Xbox Series X stores as well. The PC version is the only thing that got the only version that got removed, because in that version they left the music that Rockstar no longer has the license to.
Oh, okay.
They left it in the game.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, they also left the hot coffee minigame.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the hot coffee. For our listeners who might not be young enough or old enough to remember what hot coffee is, hot coffee was this mini game that was in the original version of San Andreas.
Yeah, the hot coffee controversy.
That was a mini game where you a 18, 19-year-old black man had very rough, hardcore doggy style sex with your girlfriend, whom was underage.
Yeah.
But
good times, man. Good times.
The thing is, the thing is to be able to activate this on the original version,
right?
Like on the PC, on the original version of the PC, it was very easy to mod this. You basically just had to go to an INI file, and there was a line in one of the INI files that said, use sex minigame, and you just toggle the flag from 0 to 1. I mean, it really was. It actually wasn't that easy, but it was close enough. To get it to work, to get it to work on consoles, you had to have a chip modded console, which was really difficult to do back in the day. Mm-hmm. Like you had to solder a bypass chip to be able to play homebrew games. Mm-hmm. But because of this thing that was on the game disc, but wasn't accessible unless you hacked it. Mm-hmm. Rockstar had Grand Theft Auto San Andreas become an adult-only game, effectively getting it removed from the shelves. Yeah. Rockstar had to then reissue the game, re-release the game with the minigame completely stripped out, so where it's no longer on the disc. Yeah. To get the adult-only rating taken off. Mm-hmm. Somehow, the people porting the the definitive PC version, instead of just using the because this is the company that also made the mobile ports of the Grand Theft Auto trilogy. Okay. That were also kind of shit. Mm-hmm. I mean, they weren't bad, but they were very obviously mobile ports. Sure. The same company that did that got, tasked with doing the definitive version, which I kind of just assumed was like high-res or re-upped versions of their mobile port, because that would be the easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's what they did for the Switch. Because the game doesn't run like it's optimized for that hardware at all. Right. The Xbox and PlayStation version isn't nearly as bad, but there's still a lot of frame stutters. So again, they may have used the PC. They might have used the mobile port. They didn't. But for some strange reason, they took like arcane code from the original PC pressing and just kind of toggled off the unlicensed soundtrack. Right. And added the new soundtrack on top of it. But left it all inside the game. Yeah. Listen, Lettuce. That Rockstar, they're just, a brand new starting out, small indie developing game company. They're bound to just make, mistakes because they're so new and not used to making, mega high quality, high production games. You got to give them a little bit of credit, man. I mean, because, it's very clearly just, a new company that would make new mistakes like that. So. Yeah, I mean, obviously. I'll be honest. My overall point is that this sounds really lazy. It sounds really. I don't know what they were doing. This sounds pretty lazy to me. Yeah, I don't know what Grove Street Games was doing, but yeah, they did a job, and they 100% just made the argument against diversity being a strength. What do you mean? Oh, a lot of their Grove Streets, like Grove Street Games, like PR stuff. Yeah, touts their diversity. Oh, okay. Even though in any of the photographs, there's only like one black guy. We're so diverse. Yeah, diversity is our strength. Yeah, we believe our games are empowered by our diverse staff. Well, hate to break this to you, buddy, but if this is what your diversity bought you, then yeah. Well, I mean, that's the classic thing of like, maybe you should, sell me the damn pizza. Yeah, just sell me the damn pizza, man.
Just make me a good game, okay? Come on, guys. Just make a good game, please. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like it was a big lazy mess, and I
Yeah,
think that's hilarious,
and the
especially
thing
considering
is
it's a
like
Rockstar game.
it went from being so good looking,
Yeah.
but then when you look back at the trailer, you're like, oh, they didn't show any gameplay.
See, and
Oh,
we've talked about this before, right? Where
oh, there's no gameplay in this.
I don't trust a game trailer that doesn't show gameplay. I don't. Like if like whenever I see like here's our preview for our brand new game, and I'm like, okay, waiting for gameplay. Still waiting for gameplay. There's no gameplay here. Like it's like I don't trust that. Like I don't care how beautiful. Like you could like go ahead and re-release, James Cameron's Avatar movie all you want, but that ain't no goddamn gameplay. So I ain't trusting it. Like like I'm not here to watch a movie. I'm here to see a game. Like I'm here to play a video game. So if you're not going to show me gameplay, I'm not going to trust you because like I've been burned too many times of like a game where it's like, look how beautiful it is. And it's like, oh, the cinematics look so good. It's obviously going to be a good game. And then the gameplay's shit. And the gameplay is just shit. And I'm like, okay, so, I can't trust, like, you're spending all of your money on these cinematics. You're not spending your money on your gameplay. So I don't trust a video game that refuses to show me gameplay. So like when you tell me like, oh, like Grand Theft Auto, it looks so good because there's cinematics, and I wouldn't be convinced. I'd be like, where's the goddamn gameplay? Show me the gameplay.
Yeah, but the thing is like what they did was like the big thing was they ported it into the Unreal 4 engine.
Right.
Which you're like, oh, this is gonna help with the controls and everything.
Yeah.
This like it should just be monkey play to, you know, modernize the graphics a little bit.
Yeah.
And then send it home.
So with that assumption, you'd be okay with the fact that they don't show gameplay?
Yeah, like because the thing is like if this isn't a new game.
Yeah.
I know what Grand Theft Auto 3, San Andreas, and Vice City is.
Yeah.
I know what that gameplay is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't need to see the game being played because I've played the games for 10 years.
Yeah, see, I still wouldn't trust it. I still would need to see gameplay.
I just wouldn't have expected them to do like what they like to mess up what they did.
Yeah. It does sound it's pretty funny. It's funny.
Like,
I think it's hilarious.
Like, I mean, yeah, the renderware is not a really great engine to work with, but pulling assets out of render and putting it into Unreal 4 shouldn't have been impossible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with some of the assets that like some of the character models that we're dealing with,
yeah,
like they use new character models and
with 3 elbows.
Yeah, like
and noodle arms.
Yeah, like human bodies that just don't look like human bodies. And so they missed and instead of taking the renderware models and trying to port them over, they designed new models, I guess, because it would be cheaper or easier that way.
Yeah.
And just showed the entire world that they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. It's kind of pathetic. But like I said, like they're just a young indie team. They don't know what they're doing. Give them some time. They just need more money and more time in development to actually make a good game. So
I suppose.
All right, buddy. I really enjoyed this podcast, but I think we need to wrap it up.
Yeah, we probably do.
Yeah, that was fun. You got to talk about The Matrix a lot. You got to talk about the hilarious Rockstar Grand Theft Auto games. So I'm pretty satisfied. Um, but yeah, so I guess I'll go ahead and do our outro. First of all, thank you guys all so much for coming in, hanging out with us, listening. This was a good episode, and we hope you guys enjoyed it, because we always have a good time. We don't always talk about what we originally intend to talk about, but it seems like you guys are okay with that for the most part. So thank you for being here and being a part of this. You know,
I mean, it kind of the checkup thing that I tried doing, where so we don't like have to ditch another episode.
Oh yeah, no, it's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean, it just kind of just throws that out the window.
Well, I mean, I thought these were pretty.
Oh no,
fun
this
subjects.
is fine. This is fine. No one was angry.
Nah, I've been exhausted, but I was in a good mood. So, and I feel like you were too, and we had a lot of fun. So I loved the Matrix discussion. That was fun. Um. Anyways, like I said, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us and listening and being a part of this podcast. We appreciate you. If you haven't already, if you're brand new here and this is your first time hanging out with us, we first of all thank you for being here and welcome to the Imaginary Boys. We do this usually once a week. And go ahead and go down below, hit that subscribe button, maybe hit that notification bell. If you guys enjoyed this and you want to hear more like it, we're going to do it anyways, no matter what you guys say. But to really show that love that you guys actually like being here and hanging out with us, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. It's really nice. It helps us out. It tricks the algorithm into thinking that we actually know what we're doing. So we really appreciate if you want to be a part of that. And check in the description below for all the wonderful links. There's Streamlabs, there's PayPal. All donations are greatly appreciated. I also always put Mr. Lettuce's YouTube channel down there in the description below, so you can go check him out if you want to. He does whatever he feels like he wants to do over there, and that's totally fine. So if you want to go check him out, go for it.
Please, no bully.
I also love and adore my Patreon members who are just super helpful. They're very nice. They help support the channel, and I greatly appreciate everything that they do to help me out. So if you want to join the Patreon and be a part of the cool people who support me, that's greatly appreciated. There's a link down below for that. And my wonderful Patreon members do include Mr. Bo Falcon, Mr. Fajuk Enterprises, James P, Miss Rebecca, as well as Scorp Guys. Thank you, Patreon members, so much for being a part of this and helping me out on a regular basis. And your regular donations are greatly appreciated. They always go towards helping to support the channel. So thank you guys so much. And I pretty much said my piece for all that stuff. So I guess the last couple of things I say is be good to one another. If you're part of the Matrix, just remember to follow the white rabbit and see where it takes you. And follow your dreams. And other than that, we have been the Imaginary Boys.